And as for the addiction part, this is very important, and I think that it needs to be deeply addressed, because we have a very weird approach to addiction. When someone is in a state of addiction, they are feeling a lack of source energy. So they're trying to replace it. They're in a dark hole, and they feel like there's no light that can get to them. Even though that's an illusion, you didn't ever leave the source field. So you keep trying to bring in some kind of light with substances that human beings often have had incredibly long relationships with. And there's a spectrum of these substances which we utilize a lot. And on one end, it's honey and chocolate, and then it gets into things like tobacco, beer and wine. Hard alcohol doesn't count because that's very new in human evolution. But beer and wine, that's not new at all. That's been around for tens of thousands of years. And then we've got things like marijuana, we've ephedra, poppy seeds, and then you get into the more intense stuff, psychedelics like psilocybin and ayahuasca, peyote, etc. All of these are communions with the earth. Tobacco, for example, people smoke a lot, and they say, I just wish I could quit smoking. And I say, well, how do you feel every time you smoke a cigarette? I feel guilty. My goodness. That beautiful tobacco plant was used in ancient ritual to open ourselves up to receive incredible light from the galaxy and from the earth. It transforms the mindset. So does chocolate. So does honey. It transforms your mind. And when you transform your mind and you open up to whatever the earth and the galactic cosmos wants to offer you, then that's incredible. That's a wonderful gift. And that tobacco is opening that person up as they're smoking it. And, and most of the time, that's not going to be pure tobacco. Now it's been run through all these systems of profit. So it's pretty nasty stuff at this point. But nonetheless, the tobacco is still doing that, opening that person up. And what do they then bring in to receive? Guilt. And then this just causes more density and more separation. So every time all these folks end up, saying, I drink too much wine, I smoke too much weed, every time I do it, I feel guilty. That's exactly the opposite of what these communions with the earth were meant to be used for. Ancient humans used all of these things in ancient ritual and very special times to open themselves up with great preparation. They smoked that tobacco. With great preparation, they consumed that chocolate or that honey and all of these other medicines, these communions. They opened themselves up to something spectacular, but they use it in a very sacred way. So, how can we help with the addiction piece? Each time that you get to partake of something that is part of this natural stuff, and I'm not talking about the new drugs like methamphetamines or cocaine or anything like that. That doesn't count. Neither does the heart A. That stuff's all new, so it doesn't have the same effects on the body or the mind as these communions with the earth. If people have addictions to those particular things, then they definitely are going to want to try to go get medical help because it is a medical issue at that point. In this case, then, if we have all these other items that we're looking at, and we partake of them in a sacred way, and we prepare ourselves with great gratitude to drink that glass of wine, or whatever, to eat that piece of chocolate, incredible gratitude, opening up to the earth and to the cosmos in a sacred space to receive what you need. And then, at that point, you can command any density out that is not serving you. And then I like to say, especially if I'm craving it and I don't want to partake, If I'm craving that wine, I love my wine. If I'm craving it and I don't want to partake, then I just ask and command that craving out of my body using that same technique. Dear heart, please shift this craving out of my body and field now. And then I'll breathe, and then I'll say, Dear heart, please fill my body and field with nourishing and satisfying light now. And then I'll take another deep breath, and then I'll go drink a glass of water. And then the craving's gone. And that glass of water helps all that nourishing and satisfying light to be received by the cells more easily.